On the debate tonight, another election, another promise broken. Once again, women across India shortchanged as political parties announced their final list of candidates. As of today, of the candidates the BJP is fielding, only 11% are women. Meanwhile, only 15% of the Congress candidates for this Lok Sabha elections are women. The promise of 33% reservation clearly limited to parties' manifesto and media conferences only.
One of the things that we've decided, in 2019, we're going to pass the women's reservation bill in Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabhas, and we're also going to reserve 33% of all government jobs at the national level for women.
With the list out, women netas across political parties have clearly expressed their displeasure and are demanding more representation and equality.
Women are 50% of the electorate, so in that sense we are a vote bank. Every political party must give more women representation through giving her an opportunity to fight elections. If Mamata Banerjee can announce 41% in her party and Naveen Patnaik 33% in his, I appeal to all political parties, please make this a part of your manifesto. You don't need legislation to ensure 33% reservation. You can give tickets the way other parties have given.
Even after more than 70 years of independence, women in India are still fighting for equality and justice. And the new India demands more women participation in lawmaking and governance.
एज कम्पेयर टू लेडीज़ टू जेंट्स, जो लेडीज़ बेहतर काम करती है एज कम्पेयर टू जेंट्स, तो इसके लिए हम सोच रहे कि एज अ लेडीज़ का गवर्नमेंट रहेगा तो बेटर रहेगा.
औरतों की प्रॉब्लम्स औरतें ज़्यादा अच्छी से समझ पाएंगी क्योंकि वो खुद कनेक्ट होकर काम करेंगी, यही लगता है मुझे.
We were expecting that this government getting such a huge majority. It always keeps saying that we are for the women and they show the faces of 4 or 5 women in the parliament. We expected that them to really pass a bill of 33 reservation bill. But it's a shame on this government that having such a majority they didn't do that. When there is a reservation, definitely it is going to help them. There will be more voices from the women. Women's issues will be taken and there will be much more, civility in the parliament also. You will see that.
मुझे भी ऐसे लगता है कि वुमेन्स के लिए सीट तो होना ही चाहिए क्योंकि जो भी प्रॉब्लम है वुमेन्स के लिए वो एक महिला ही समझ सकती है जो कि ना पुरुष समझ सकता है, तो चाहिए वो.
As India moves to elect in the 17th Lok Sabha, Mirror now campaigns for greater representation of women in Parliament. Join our campaign. Let's make a difference.
Good evening. You're watching the Urban Debate. I'm Kavita Krishnan. Our parties have been promising us 33% reservation for women in Parliament. Now, this promise was first made in 1996 when the Women's Reservation Bill was actually tabled in the Parliament. Since then, this bill has lapsed a total of 4 times. When the 16th Lok Sabha is dissolved, that is this Lok Sabha, it will lapse for the 5th time in a row. But that should not come as a surprise. Why should it? When of all the candidates standing for the first phase of elections this time, that is the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, only 7.9% are women. We have not even made 10%. And it gets worse. In phase 2, only 7.4% candidates are women. In fact, today, whilst researching for this debate, Mirror Now's team found just how much our parties believe in walking the talk on women's representation. We asked our country's biggest parties, the BJP and the Congress, for data on how many women they've given tickets to for this Lok Sabha election. The response that we got was disappointing. Party publicity offices did not even know how many of their women members were contesting. That's how low women are on their list of priorities. Which is why at Mirror Now we decided to kick off a campaign to demand that women be given equal opportunities in elections, to demand equality in Parliament. Call and connect with us if you agree. Joining us on this very important discussion are Anira Singh, who is a spokesperson of the BJP, Karuna Nandi, lawyer with the Supreme Court, Ranjana Kumari, Director, Center for Social Research, Dr. Sashmit Patra will be joining us. He is a BJP spokesperson. And Amiben Yagnik is also joining us. She is a Congress spokesperson. Bharat Kumar Raut is also with us, who is a senior journalist. I will begin with Bharat Kumar Raut. You've covered many elections, Mr. Raut. Are you surprised by the fact that parties are fielding 7.9% and 7.4% candidates as women candidates?
Unfortunately, I'm not surprised, I'm not amused either. This is because I've been seeing elections for a long time, at least 5-6 elections I've seen. And every time I've seen that this percentage has never gone up. And this is the number of candidates those are contesting. Number of candidates getting elected is worse than that. So the women's reservation in the houses, whether assembly or in parliament, is receding day by day. Does that mean that women are not participating in the political process? They are. If you see the political secretaries and the party secretaries and party presidents and all that, they are women, but they don't get into parliament. That is the main problem. And whoever comes, without malice to anybody. There are some honorable exceptions, like Shaina is there, and Sushma Swaraj is there, and except barring few, I would like to say, with the responsibility on me, that most of the women who come either in parliament or in state assemblies, they come there as somebody's daughter, somebody's daughter-in-law, somebody's sister, somebody's so they come not on their own merit, but they come on somebody else's legacy. If these things keep happening, then how the women's reservation bill, even if it comes, it has lapsed 6 times, of which one I was member there when I saw that it lapsing. But even if it doesn't, then what is the point? What is the purpose? If somebody's daughter is coming only because she's a leader's daughter or daughter-in-law, then what is the, where does it correct to the women? Does it go to the last person? It does not go.
Bharat Kumar Raut, I get where you're coming from.
I want women's reservation.
I completely agree with where you're coming from, and I completely believe that merit should be the reason why you are offered a seat in parliament. You should go to parliament because you do a good job at representing people. But I would like the panelists to bear me out on this and tell me whether they agree or not. You know, before we start talking about nepotism in parliament, let's start talking about how many women are actually making it to parliament. We are looking at 12% right now. If you look at the parliament, we have 545 MPs, of which only 64 are women. In the first parliament, 1951, 24 were women. We've not really come very, very far from 1951. We're looking at 12% of women in parliament. And if that is the case, I say that if it means that somebody's daughter, somebody's wife, somebody's mother, somebody's daughter-in-law or sister-in-law is coming to parliament, so be it. At least a woman is coming into parliament. Karuna Nandi, what do you think of that?
You know, I think the point that is frequently made is that X woman is not the most brilliant woman, Y woman is somebody's daughter. If you look at dynastic politics across the board, in every single party, including in the BJP, right? You have men who are beneficiaries of dynastic politics. You have men who are mediocre. You have men who are sort of not the best qualified person for the job, and yet they occupy the field. Therefore, what one is saying is that don't require that the women be absolute, that only the most brilliant women, only the most disadvantaged, most brilliant women, only the most rural disadvantaged sort of brilliant women should get these jobs. They should have the same opportunities that everybody else does. And when I say women, of course, I mean women and trans people and everyone who is not a able-bodied Savarna Hindu man, because our parliament is full of them, and honestly, sort of enough of that. And look, the point is that now we have a situation where the gatekeeping by the political parties is so blatant, because in the last Lok Sabha, you had 7% of tickets that were given to women. However, 11% of women won and made up the Lok Sabha, right? So therefore, the political parties underestimate the winnability of women candidates, and they prevent women from having access. They are sort of the funnel between the electorate and women candidates, and are sort of the patriarchies that are limiting the electorate's contact and the ability to choose women candidates, right? That's one thing. The second thing is, I think that the women's reservation bill is just absolutely fundamental, because now we can't be subject to either the patriarchies within the political parties or the perception of the patriarchies within the electorates by the political parties. I mean, you just have to cut through all of that now. And so the good thing is that every single party promises it. Every single party says they believe in it. Now, they just have to put their money where their mouth is and make it happen. And so this is one thing that all the parties say that they agree on. So, you know, let them hold each other to account, because they have blatantly failed in doing this voluntarily and giving tickets, you know, except with the notable exception of the Trinamool Congress. And it's a very important notable exception. You know, I also want to say that the perception of the political parties is not correct also. For example, if you look at the rate at which women are led parties, right, are voted for. So, for example, you have the AIADMK, when Jayalalitha was leading the AIADMK. You also have the situation of Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal. Women vote for those parties at a much higher rate, and there's a benefit that they get without getting a disbenefit, you know. It's not that men vote for them at a lower rate. That's one thing. And the second thing is that there is evidence to show, there's a study by Rikhil Bhavnani from Stanford, that once you have a seat that is reserved, and women function, you know, as sort of public functionaries in that seat, for example, in panchayats, even after that seat is de-reserved, a woman is much more likely to be elected to that seat. It's because of the perception issue, because even if the electorate is not unbiased, there's a very sort of concrete example saying, here's a woman, she did a fantastic job, right?
Right.
So reservation is something that's really important.
Right. And in fact, Karuna Nandi, you brought up the example of the TMC. Let us also give credit where it's due. It's not just the TMC. The BJD has also done a fairly good job as far as giving opportunities to women is concerned. In fact, in this Lok Sabha election, they have fielded 33% of the candidates that the BJD has fielded are women. And let's give credit where it's due. But before we go on to the BJD, Dr. Shashmit Patra will be joining us soon. Let me bring in the party spokesperson, the party who has been promising women's reservation to us for quite some time now. They promised it in 2014. They promised it again in their manifesto that they recently released this week. I'm talking of the Congress party over here. I'm talking of the Congress party over here. And Ami Ben Yagnik, would you like to comment? The fact that the Congress party is talking about women's reservation bill, you all have been promising that to us. But when it came to giving tickets, you've given only 16.9%, 15.9%, I'm sorry, 15.9% of the candidates you've fielded are women.
Well, you know, this time you can see that we give tickets to women, but overall sometimes the consideration is winnability. The elections over the years have changed a lot, and women participation is much required these days and today's days. But if you look at the history of the Congress party, you will have to go back to the era of Rajiv Gandhi, and when he brought women in the Panchayati Raj, in the local bodies. I think 25 years down the lane, it has proved to be and will be forever the single most point of women empowerment in local bodies. I'm just pointing this out that when it was a majority government by Rajiv Gandhi's party, I think we gave that reservation, and that is today we have the latest question that was answered in the parliament by the Minister of Panchayati Raj, that over about 108,000 women have become women sarpanches in this country in the last 25 years. So the women empowerment and decision-making process in parliamentary democracy has taken a wonderful turn in the local panchayat. But thereafter, the governments that came, the political parties couldn't come to a consensus. It's a matter of political consensus. So in March 2010, in the Rajya Sabha, when the UPA government passed the reservation bill, it lapsed. The opposition did not agree to it in the Lok Sabha.
Ami Yagnik, let's talk about consensus within the party here. Ami Ben Yagnik, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Let's talk about consensus within the party here. We are not really speaking about the women's reservation bill. The question I'm asking is, why is it that the Congress party is fielding so little women, so few women?
We have fielded as many women as we could, because we also have to look at the
how many do you have a number?
Winnability factor.
Do you have a number that you can give us?
Let me complete first, because I'm coming. No, I understand your question and the hurry, but you please understand why I'm coming to that point. That because we are unable to bring women, we bring women by giving them tickets. If they do not win, then there is kind of a disappointment, and then that political work is not being done or taken forward, and hence the pitch for reservation. It is high time, and that is why we have promised 33% reservation in our manifesto, and we stand by it because of our track record at the local panchayati level, and we want women in the legislative assemblies and the Lok Sabha, and hence you please understand that women participation is very important for a parliamentary democracy, but it has its pros and cons, and especially in change times, and that is why even if we have not fielded as many as 33%, we promise to bring 33% reservation, and we want women in political situations.
Right. We'll take those questions later, Karunanandi. Let me also bring in Anila Singh. Anila Singh, why is it that the BJP has given tickets, of all the tickets that you've given, only 11.7% have gone to women? And why is it that your party publicity arm, publicity arm did not know how many women have been given tickets to?
Kavita, you asked this question from Amiben Yagnik, and the same question you are asking me as well. I think we both are not the right person to answer this question, because it is after all, like if I talk about Bharatiya Janata Party, it is the decision of the parliamentary committee which decides that who has to contest from where. So Anila Singh cannot answer that question at all. But yes, since 1996, this game is on of women reservation, and all women politicians above party line, we all demand this thing that reservation should be there, and we defend this cause and we fight also. And it should be there. As just now I think Karuna was giving us the example of the Panchayati Raj. Definitely it has proved that women can be very good in the politics, and representation is there. Though some of the women, they have husbands who are known as Pradhan Pati and or Block Pramukh Pati, something like that. But with the time, even these women, they start taking decision and they make a difference there, because it is a proven fact that women can think more rationally on different aspects at the same time.
Right, Anila Singh, then why aren't more women being given tickets to contest in the parliamentary elections? Why is it? No, Anila Singh, why is it that one of your own party spokespersons had to come out and say this? She said as much, that political parties are chauvinists.
See, she can only answer.
So, Anila Singh, you are here as a BJP spokesperson, not as a
on her
woman.
Behalf. But
right.
I am a BJP spokesperson, but I am not the spokesperson of Shaina NC.
All right. So I'm not going to answer on her behalf. But as a women politician, I definitely stand very strongly as my co-panelist from Congress is standing. And since 1996, this game is on. And it is not,
but I mean, both of you
call
are here as party representatives, you see.
Yes,
and I agree that it's very unfair on the part of the parties to send you all out.
If you don't believe in
their line, then what they have decided. But
Karuna Nandi, let her finish. Karuna Nandi, let her finish. But Anila Singh, it's very interesting. Anila Singh, it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting that for a change today, both the BJP and the Congress are on the same side. They're actually agreeing on something.
And no, Kavita, I have been on women reservation debate on Mirror now several times. And your channel knows my standing very clearly, and even my party knows it very well. And it is not about Bharatiya Janata Party, Congress. It is about the, I can say it's a male mentality, which is not letting women reservation bill passed in the parliament. That is the main cause, and it is the proven fact. It is the proven fact.
Right.
That
let me bring in my other panelists. Let me bring in my other panelists, Anila Singh. But you said it as much. Yeah, very quickly.
One more thing I want to add here.
Very quickly.
Please, very quickly. But at the same time, I want to say that it should be a qualitative representation, not quantitative. TMC has said that 41% tickets has been given to the women. But we need to see that these 41% seats are the right seats to win, or it is just the numbers you have given.
Right, Anila Singh, but you said it as much. It was male mentality that is holding women back. It's holding back the women's reservation bill. And Ranjana Kumari, do you think that is also what is not allowing enough women to contest in elections?
What is not allowing women to contest elections? I didn't get your question, Kavita.
Anila Singh said male mentality is holding back the women's reservation bill. Male mentality is not letting the bill pass. Do you think male mentality within the party is not letting enough women contest?
How about, did you hear?
Not within the party, but in the parliament, Kavita,
let me just put the record straight, Kavita.
Yes, Ranjana.
Let me put the record straight. This whole issue has been really fought by the women's movement organizations for almost 23 years. We have not only met, even this yesterday, every political party asking the same question as you are asking, and on Faye D'Souza's program, I must have been empty of time, plenty of time when I've talked about it. We came up with Womenifesto, if you can show it to your viewers, gave to all political parties. This is a consensus from across the country. This is not just produced by one organization sitting somewhere. We have met every political party manifesto committee, except for BJP, because they did not think that they can have any kind of conversation with women. They have never met a women's delegation. Prime Minister received 5,000 letters from us, but did not respond even to one letter. The letters have come from all over the country. So why are you blaming the men in the political party? What about these women member of parliament who, tell me one women member of parliament from BJP who even raised this issue in the parliament? In 5 years, they have not opened their mouth. They are so scared about their own political future that they don't think this was there.
Everybody has been very vocal
women who worked with us.
Let her speak, Anila Singh.
No, what are you talking? Who are you? What are you talking? Which Hema Malini ji? Which Hema Malini ji? What are you talking about?
No,
they have not even responded. It's not me saying this. I'm talking.
No, I'm telling you, all the women politicians, whether in the form of MP or MLA, they have been very vocal about it. Very vociferous.
Anila Singh, let her speak. Let her make her point. Everybody is waiting patiently when you're talking.
No, I'm not helpless at all.
Anila Singh, you'll be given a chance to speak. Anila Singh, this is not done. I'll have to ask my producer to cut down your audio. You'll be given a chance to speak.
Conduct the discussion. Please don't invite me to such discussion.
Ranjana Kumari, please go on.
Yeah, Kavita, please if you want me to say something, let me
Yes,
say something.
Ranjana Kumari,
Ami
please go
Yagnik
on.
or Anila Singh or Juhi Singh or so many of these women, and including Shaina NC. Shaina NC only yesterday tweeted about this helplessness that, you know, I've seen all the women. Why are you talking to these women who have absolutely no power whatsoever within their own political party, have no say? Anila Singh spoke the truth that it is the parliamentary committee of the political party which decides about the ticket. Years and years of being being surrounded by politicians within my own family, I know how it works. It works that all these men decide. It's not the winnability which is the issue. Winnability is of criminals. There are murderers who have been given ticket. There are people who have so many criminal cases have been given the ticket across the country. If Mamta could do it, if Mr. Patnaik could do it in Odisha, why could Rahul Gandhi not do it in the country? Why could, and Mr. Modi, I have absolutely no hope from Amit Shah and Mr. Modi, let me tell you, because 5 years, neither safety and security, nor education. Educated women have gone out of employment in this country. 10% women have gone out of the work participation rate. I mean, I can reel out data to you because that's my, as a political scientist, I understand the processes like that. But these people, these men do not think women are only the women who are totally surrendered, subordinated, who only speak their language are the women who are in their party and who have got the ticket to contest. So BJP, I mean, 2/3 majority in Lok Sabha, they did not even discuss the bill. None of the women members of parliament of their own party even raised this issue. So let's not say that, men are responsible. How far have these women politicians gone to hold hand, stand by another woman politician to say, wait, we will all go and protest, we will all go. Have you heard any protest after seats have been released? Do you know that people who produced even next to porn film in Bhojpuri have been given ticket in Uttar Pradesh? Do you know about the kind of people who have been given ticket? Is winnability criteria only criteria? Women are winning more than men. I think some panelists in your panel itself said, our researchers have said all about all that. But the only reason they are not giving, because they do not want to lose control from the political parties. Just like in the panchayat, when you gave 33%, women showed their capability and leadership, you had to give 50%. Today, women are politically making the decision. And in this election, let me tell you, women are going to make the decision because they know that their vote matters. Now they are understanding all that. There is aspirational women leadership in this country.
Kumari,
and that is what is going to be. That is instilling more fear in the men who are controlling the political party. That is the reason why women are not being given
Let me bring in Sashmit Patra, who is a spokesperson of the BJD. Now, the BJD, like we told you earlier, has given tickets of all the candidates that they have fielded, 33% are women. This is a party that is actually walking the talk. Sashmit Patra, what convinced you to field women? Because here...
And also Mamta Banerjee, of course.
Yeah, Mamta Banerjee, of course. But Dr. Sashmit Patra, tell us what convinced your party to field women over here, because questions are being raised on winnability among all other things.
You see, women candidates are quite winnable. If that was not true, then in Odisha you would not have 50% candidates who are actually women candidates in the panchayat elections, number one. And there is a thought behind this. It's not as if there's a knee-jerk reaction and one fine day we decided we'll do it at 33%. It started way back in the 90s when late Shri Biju Patnaik, when he was the chief minister, he actually brought in 33% reservation in the panchayat raj system. Now that was brought to 50% by Shri Naveen Patnaik ji in 2008. And now, as you can see, we have also started a women's empowerment program called as Mission Shakti, where 70 lakh women have been empowered and 7 lakh SHG groups, self-help groups have come up. So what we're seeing is not only a political empowerment, but behind it is actually a socio-economic empowerment which is being provided. So when we talk about women and we say, let's just provide them political empowerment. And then, I've been hearing the debate and people are saying it's winnable, non-winnable. I'll give a very small example of how we have gone about it. Let's say you look at Aska Parliamentary Constituency. Now that constituency is the seat from which Mr. Naveen Patnaik won the elections when he actually stepped into politics way back in 1997. So his own home constituency, where he has stood as a member of parliament, he has given that seat to Ms. Pramila Bisoi, who happens to be a self-help group worker. Her son is a tea seller, another son is a mechanic. So the idea is you have to walk the talk. You know, all this talk being said, men are not the deciding, men in the political parties are not deciding. It's a unitary system. And if the dialogue and meaningful engagement happens and there is a political will, obviously there's going to be a change. But we have to start the process. It cannot be a knee-jerk reaction that shouldn't be. But there has to be a process behind it. And as I told you, this process has started way back from the 90s with Biju Patnaik, going on to Naveen Patnaik.
Dr. Patra, another thing I wanted to ask you, the candidates that you are fielding, the women candidates that you are fielding, are they somebody's sister, somebody's mother, somebody's wife, as was alleged earlier?
I talked about Mrs. Pramila Bisoi. She is a SHG group Mahila worker who is working for the self-empowerment of 300 women in her locality. Her family has nothing to do with politics. Let's come to Jajpur. Jajpur is where a deputy secretary of the government of Odisha, and again in her family there is no politician. She's contesting from Jajpur, which the Biju Janata Dal has never lost in the last 4 elections. So if you talk about winnability, I think the most winnable seats have been provided not to women just because they are women, but because we feel that they should be fighting that election. And they should be fighting from that seat because they are eligible for that. So out of the 7 seats or the 30% reservation, so to say, if you were to say, you would see that most of the women who have been fielded do not have a political background. Yes, in Jagat Singhpur, we have a woman candidate who was an MLA, but from her family, there's no one else. Her husband was not an MLA or an MP, but she's a first-time MLA, and she's been given an MP position. So this clearly shows that we are not into this policy of a proxy. Like, okay, instead of the husband, put the wife as an MP candidate. That kind of a logic is not being followed by the Biju Janata Dal.
Right. Dr. Patra, thank you. Stay with us. Let me go back to Bharat Kumar Raut. Bharat Kumar Raut also, if we look at the pattern over here, we have the TMC, we have the BJD, very strong regional parties in their own right, who are in fact spearheading the change. Why is it that the national parties, who should be the ones who should be showing the way, are not doing it, but our regional parties are stepping forward?
Yes, you are right. Unfortunately, the national parties are not showing any interest in getting women into legislative assembly or parliament. In local self-government, that is from Gram Panchayat, Zilla Parishad, Panchayat Samitis, there are women because they are by statute, they are 50% there. But how many of those, actually I can talk about Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, this is the 4th election, 4th local self-government election that the 50% reservation has come into effect. How many of those 50% have really been promoted to assembly or to Lok Sabha? In my opinion, hardly any. Apart from some Mumbai Municipal Corporation, Pune Municipal Corporation, those are big corporations. From the semi-village, semi-rural and rural areas, no woman has been elevated to the upper stage. So why this? Regional parties are showing interest, but they are not getting candidates. I have one suggestion, because I have to leave now. I have one suggestion. Instead of asking for giving women the reservation 50% or whatever, then the parties will give, I am afraid, parties will give them such seats which are not possibly can be won by that party. Supposing I belong to a party and I know that I am weakest in another constituency, I will put a woman candidate in that. Instead, if you can have a legislation by which there are reserved constituencies for women, reserved constituencies, like we have for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, if you have reserved constituencies for women, then that will be useful, because then only women will contest there. Do it by rotation. Do it by rotation. By next year, the next time, some other constituency can be chosen for that. Or you have 2-member constituencies. Reduce the number of constituencies and make it 2-member, like what has happened in local self-governments in Maharashtra.
Right.
In all Jilla Parishad and Nagar Parishad, there are 2 candidates are chosen from each constituency. One is woman and one is general. So if this type of things happen, then surely women will come into politics. And as Shaina has rightly said, even the ability needs opportunity. and it is for the women basically, and it's 4.5 years, not in the 5th year when the candidature is declared. 4.5 years, what do the women leaders do? They do nothing. They just enjoy their leadership. They don't want other women to come perhaps in the field because they will be their competition. So instead of coming when the tickets are being distributed, if these efforts are done before that, and I am saying
Bharat
it with
Kumar Rao,
all
let's not,
command,
like you just pointed
no man
out,
would like the woman
like
to
you
come.
just pointed out, even
They will
ability
have to
needs
fight their own
opportunity.
fight.
The fact is, women are not even being given that opportunity over here, and that is the big problem that we are raising tonight. In fact, Karuna Nandi, the other thing that amazes me is the fact that Shaina NC came out and said what she said. One would expect that women cutting across party lines would actually come out and, support her or say something similar or at least comment on what she said. We saw nothing. It's almost like there is a conspiracy of silence.
I'm a little divided on this, to be honest, because on the one hand, I don't think one should blame the victim, right? Because while we have two spokespersons here who have been,
they are not victims.
when there is, the absence of women and the presence of patriarchy needs to be defended. No, with the greatest respect to both of you. When the patriarchy needs to be defended and when the absence of the women's reservation bill needs to be defended, what do the parties do? They wheel out their women spokespersons that nobody wants to critique too much, because after all, what you all are sort of suffering patriarchy within the party is also not fair, right? Many of you yourselves should have been given tickets and have not. So, so on the one hand, one doesn't want to sort of hold them responsible, and therefore then the party gets away scot-free, right? But I think that let's then focus on the positive examples, because I think what the BJD has done by cutting through all of this nonsense. One excuse, some winnability issue that women don't win, right? Second excuse that, but there is patriarchy within the party and men control these things. I think there are two things that are very important to remember. One, people are only not able, the winnability factor only applies until a woman actually goes and wins, right? Second, for example, we have had prime ministers in this country that have been women. We have chief ministers in this country that have been women. In the United States, they are still waiting for a woman president. It's a big glass ceiling that they feel very sort of angst-ridden about because they've not been able to break it. And the second thing is that if once you demonstrate how it's done, and I think here we must focus on the very inspiring way in which Ashwath Patra has told us about the two candidates that he spoke of. And he says that there are a large number of such candidates, and that they have been working on this for a long time. And I just think at the very least, whether the women's reservation bill comes in tomorrow or not, this is something that should be emulated. And I'm really appreciative that he told us these stories. And I hope that he tells these stories far and wide. And it would be wonderful to hear these stories from the TMC as well. Now, while the point is well taken that, of course, the Congress is ahead of the BJP in this, because at least the Congress brought in the 73rd Amendment to the Constitution and made sure that 33% of panchayats have women in them, right? We have women sarpanches. We have all the examples that we are all stating of women in our politics are from the panchayats. But it's also true that UPA 1 and 2, there was an opportunity to pass the women's reservation bill, and that did not get followed through on. Now, we do have that very inspiring image, that remains in my mind, and I would like to carry until it's passed, of Sushma Swaraj, Brinda Karat, Najma Heptullah, and some Congress people, women from the Congress, sort of holding hands and raising their hands together in victory when that bill passed through the Lok Sabha before it lapsed. And frankly, I do think that within parties, outside parties, the BJD and the TMC examples will bring pressure. That bill must
in fact,
be
Karuna
passed.
Nandi, we
No,
should
it passed
actually
the
push.
Lok Sabha, it lapsed.
Right.
It lapsed.
We should actually push for parties to field more women. So we have more women standing outside the parliament, raising their hands and taking those photos. Then the next time when the women's reservation bill actually comes up for discussion. We have two callers on the line. R.K. Sharma is on the phone line from Mumbai. Mr. Sharma?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'd just like to say, according to our constitution, it says we the people, for the people, by the people. The parliament is represented by that. If 650 million citizens, and the BJP keeps tom-tomming about nationalism and all of that, if 650 million citizens are not represented in the parliament, how is that nationalistic? And are we in any way going unconstitutional? Are we going unconstitutional by not representing correctly? And if that is true, can somebody file a case and just pull down the government on the basis of that and enforce 33% reservation of women? Because I find it hideous. In 2019, we're still discussing this, and we're still party representatives are coming and they're just sitting here. They don't have the power to talk about it. They are just mere spokesperson, be it Congress, be it BJP. They're just sitting here. They don't have the power to say anything. I feel sad for them. They can't even walk out of the party. It's sad. I wouldn't want this to happen with my daughter. I think it's completely wrong. Men, women are equal. We are equal citizens in this country, and there has to be equal representation in the parliament. If it's not, it's unconstitutional. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. We also have Riaz on the phone line from Pune.
I just want to say something, Kavita. There is something very important I want to say here. Something very important. We met the election commission. We met the election commission, and we gave them the representation just before the election was announced. And why should parties get recognition as national parties when they don't even have 7-8% women membership? They do not even give ticket to women to contest. How are they constitutional? I think the question raised from Bombay with gentlemen who talked about it, absolutely right. How is this parliament constitutionally the place where equality is being really represented by all these political parties? Election Commission should come in and ask political parties why, and should it take 72 years to really believe that women can contest, can win? There are capable women in this country. All the women who are representing and who come to your programs from political parties as spokespersons are being used by their political parties as spokesperson. None of them, not even one, has got the ticket to contest the election. Don't you think they are capable women politically? But none of them have got the ticket. So this is totally unconstitutional. This parliament is absolutely, if it doesn't represent 50% of women, it is unconstitutional. So we are bearing with it. Half the population of the country is silent about it. But I'm sure the awakening is coming, and I'm very sure women should come together across party line. They should support Shaina NC. They should support Ami Yagnik. They should support Neela Singh. All these people should be supported for fighting from within their own political parties to get the ticket.
Right. We have Riaz on the phone line from Pune. Riaz, please go on.
I agree with that.
Yes. You see, I will say it in as much short time as possible. You see, the Constitution of India gives equal rights to not only men in this entire country, but also equal rights to women in this country. Then why should women beg for 33% reservation over the last 32 years? Why can't they just come out and say, we are going to form a political party consisting of only women, strictly for women all over the country? They can have as many parties as they want and fight the elections with their head-to-head with the men. That's fair, isn't it? And that is politically correct and constitutionally right.
Right. Right, Riaz, thank you very much. And let me now go to our two party spokespersons. Amiben Yagnik, we'll come to you first. Couple of things that our callers said, couple of things that our other panelists have said. One, the fact that you are in a party, and the man said it very, very clearly, I do not want my daughter to become a politician because she will feel bad. She'll feel bad that she has to sit in that party. You're a member of the party and you cannot say anything about this.
No, I think it is not like that. When you are a member of a party, you get equal opportunity to work just as men get. You become a member of a party first, you have to take that first step. Women are empowered, those who are empowered do come to the party. They are members in several parties. So we may not say that, well, she will, one who joins a party will have to sit. Everyone gets an opportunity by being a member in the party. Somewhere you have to show your public service, somewhere you have to show your worth. The opportunity is always there. But the question here is that sometimes when you tell women to fight elections, to contest elections,
are you telling us?
So women have
one
not
second.
done public
No,
service
1 minute.
One second. Are you telling us that enough women are not doing public service?
Public service for 72 years in this country.
Everyone is doing. So I'm.
No, if that is the case, why aren't enough women coming out as leaders?
That is why so many
why aren't
women
they being given tickets?
Yes, but that.
Which is why we are saying.
But that is what I'm saying. That is what you are saying in the last 20, 30 years. You are seeing so many women. You are seeing so many women. No, you are seeing so many women.
How many
opportunities are given to women, but sometimes it does happen. How many women you saw the our party gave the first women speaker, the first women president, the prime minister, defense minister? I think you should also look at it on the positive side.
Let me also tell you one thing. Let me also, since you're bringing up history, one second.
This party has worked for empowerment of women.
I'm sorry, but since you're bringing up history, let me also remind you something. Let me tell you something. Your party gave us the first woman prime minister, and we are very, very proud of that. The first woman prime minister, the late Indira Gandhi, served 3 terms. In all these 3 terms, there was a woman in her cabinet
and
only for 1 term.
Nehruji. We must
there was a woman in her cabinet only for 1 term. And that too, there was only 1 woman in her cabinet. That says a lot about equality. Anila Singh? Why is it? Tell us, what is the reason that is holding women back in your party?
Can I come in for a second?
Yes, Amiben Yagnik. Quickly.
Anila
Singh, give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. Let Amiben Yagnik finish what she has
I think you...
All right.
Amiben Yagnik, go on.
I think you should see the gradual empowerment of women. I think you should look at the work done in the UPA 1 and 2. We are talking of women in general. We want to empower women through law.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I gave you time. 72 years, you call it gradual empowerment? 72 years?
All of us are not here to fight.
It takes us 72 years to reach a state where 12% of the people, MPs, are women.
Why it can't be gradual?
You call that gradual?
None of you.
People die in 72 years.
None of you went to the Prime Minister and said, here you have a majority government. Why don't you bring the reservation bill?
Right?
Today,
the reason.
72 years.
I understand your concern
absolutely.
for women.
They have been telling the Prime Minister that you should bring the reservation.
Let me give Anila Singh a chance. Let me give Anila Singh a chance to speak.
Absolutely.
Right. Let me give Anila Singh a chance to speak. Anila Singh.
Kavita, one of your columns, Mr. R.K. Sharma, said that he will not like his daughter to come into politics because of the reasons, because of the certain reasons which we are discussing on a panel right now. This is the reason, I'll say, this is one of the major reasons when parents discourage their own daughters to join politics. You ask them what you want your daughter to be. They will say, we want our daughter to be engineer, be doctor, IAS, MBA graduate, so on and on and on. Not a single parent will say, those who do not have any political background, that they want their daughter to be in politics. They want their daughter to be a politician, women in politics. And I always advocate this thing, that please bring your daughters in politics. If many daughters will be there, then definitely we will have our presence, at least in numbers. And when we have good in numbers, good politicians in the politics, then definitely, like, men in the political parties they will be forced to give us the ticket.
I'm sorry, Anila Singh, I don't understand what you're trying to tell us over here. Do you want? I'm sorry, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. I have a very important question.
I'm trying to say that parents should also, Kavita, this is unfair. Kavita,
go on, finish, Anila Singh.
I was sitting very calmly. I want to say that parents should also encourage their daughters to join the politics. All the daughters who are not from the political background, even they should come into politics. Secondly, I never asked ticket from my party. So let me tell you, I never aspired to contest. I didn't aspire to join the electoral politics. I wanted to do the work of the organization, and I'm very happy my party has given me this opportunity to do. And let me tell you one thing, BJP sees the talent, BJP encourages the women with talent, and Narendra Modi ji, as the Prime Minister of the country,
Anila Singh, I'm sorry, I need to ask a very important question over here. Karuna Nandi, this is a point raised by a lot of people. 1 second. Karuna Nandi, point raised by one of our callers. A point that Ranjana Kumari also. Now tell me this, Karuna Nandi, do we have no other option left? Because our political parties...
Can you mute? I can't hear.
Yeah. Karuna Nandi, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Considering that we don't have too many options left, considering that our political parties think 72 years is a short time, do you think that the only way left now is for somebody to go to court and actually file a petition questioning whether the parliament is unconstitutional because of the way the representation is so skewed?
Look, I think that this really has to be primarily a political process, and there is a lot that must happen in our polity, in our parliament. We can't always ask for the courts to bell the cat. With regard to sort of what a lot of people say, that let this process be gradual, you know. Let me give an example from a very progressive and important thing that the UPA did, which I was involved in. Now, the UPA brought together some very significant evolutions in the anti-rape laws in 2013. And voyeurism was made a crime, and disrobing was made a crime, etc. Acid attacks were, sort of the laws against acid attacks were strengthened, etc. What happened was this, that because there were people in parliament, that it was dominated by men of a particular patriarchal bent, what happened is that stalking was made a bailable offense. Now, this means that now, as we speak, there are women all over the country who are in fear of their lives, who are being followed by men, and repeatedly, who have said no repeatedly, who have gone to the police, who have gone to the magistrate, and the magistrate says, my hands are tied, she has no option but to release that man out on bail. This happened as a direct result of the widespread patriarchy, the widespread, so there are too many men in parliament who do not understand these issues at a visceral level. This is why we do not have time.
Right.
This is why this process cannot be gradual. This is why whichever government comes in, that there has to be mass pressure, including from the TMC and BJD and your channels like yours, and people like Amiben Yagnik and people like Anila Singh, to say that enough is enough, that bill must be passed.
Right, Karuna Nandi, and believe you me, on this channel, we will ensure that there is mass pressure. We will keep asking these questions. We will keep demanding a women's reservation bill. We'll keep demanding that parties field enough women. And here's why this is important. Just to add to what Karuna Nandi said, if you field enough women, and there is enough research that has been done to prove this, if there are enough women who are making the law, if there are enough women in parliament and in legislatures and in gram panchayats like we've already seen, there are more funds that are released for healthcare, more funds are released for education, more funds are released for making cities, towns and villages safer. And that's the reason why we need more women in parliament. We need more women in parliament to ensure that this country of ours is a beautiful place to live in, to make our standard of living much better. And one more little thing that I would like to add to, that I would like to share with my audience. one question kept coming up, and that was the winnability of the candidate. Let me tell you this, of all the people who called in on the show, all of them are men. All the people who wrote in on the show, all of them are men, barring one woman. All of them are demanding that more women be fielded. That there is your answer for winnability. It is not just women who will vote for women candidates, men will also vote for women candidates. Thank you for watching.